Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube, it says. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have a special guest with us, Mrs. Nancy Thames, who is a ufologist. It's coming through on YouTube. Hang on, I've got to kill the audio on it. Okay. So anyway, Miss Nancy is a ufologist, and she's had some experiences she wants to share with us. And for right now, to start out, I'd like to have her tell us a little bit about herself and about what some of her experiences are and where we can go to learn more about UFOs and aliens. If you would, please, Miss Nancy, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you for having me. My name is Nancy Timms. I'm a lifelong contactee with interdimensional extraterrestrials. A lot of people don't realize, but all extraterrestrials are interdimensionals. And the reason I say this is because we've always known that they pop in and out of our, 1 minute we can see them, the next minute we cannot. And that's because they're coming in and out of their dimension into our dimension. So, there's a lot of misinformation, all kinds of things out there around the world, a seabed of information that is incorrect and has been put out there to the world for several reasons. One is to create fear, instill fear in humanity. Some of it is because they want to keep human beings at a dumbed down, lower level, keep us locked into this 3D realm that we're in, because that prevents us from reaching ascension or evolving further in our evolutionary stage. So basically, I was an interdimensional being before I came to Earth, and I did not find this out until I was 30 years old. I'm 64 years old now. And when I was 30, I witnessed my two sons having their first contact with extraterrestrials. And they left me in a fully conscious sleep paralysis. So I was a witness to the whole thing of seeing them take my sons and then walk in front of me and then black me out. And then waking up the next day, and they were just super fine asleep in their beds. And when I asked them later on that morning if they recalled any of it, they did not. So I left it alone, but it disturbed me in a great way. I've always had experiences. My first that I remember myself is like 2 and 3 years old. And for me, they always send 3 beings to come to get me and prepare me, to get me ready to transport, to craft. And in that process, they would change my human frequency. Humans are at a very, very low frequency. They would take a handheld device and using their higher consciousness, they would go up and down and up. It never touched my body. And it would feel like my body was vibrating. And then my body would start to float kind of up. And I would start to look around and I would be holding the hands of one of the females. She was a female hybrid gray. I know now she's a hybrid, but she is a gray. And then she would take me by the hand and we would literally go through the ceiling or through a door or through a wall. And I never understood how this could happen. Or, as I got older, junior high and high school, I just did not understand how a human being could physically do this. But now that I'm older, and I communicate with them on a conscious level, fully awake, they explained to me that they were changing my frequency so that I could reach their level, their frequency, and travel like they do. And for a long time, that was how they always got me to craft. As I've gotten older, and especially now that the world has more eyes focused on the sky, and because of the fact that, the government's paying more attention, it's more of a teleport type or teleportation type mode that they use to take me from wherever I am. They locate me by my frequency. My frequency is my signature. That is my identity. We all have a frequency, and it's just like our thumbprint or our fingerprint. That is who we are. That is our signature. So wherever I was, and I've lived a lot of places, that's how they find me, is through my frequency. And so now, at times they still will come in threes and manifest in the room. But a lot of times now it's more of a even if they do come in the threes, they will teleport me and they black me out through this process. And then when I get on craft, I'm fully conscious and I don't see the three hybrids that prepared me and got me there. I'm on like a mothership and I'm dealing with all these other extraterrestrials, and I don't see those three until it's ready to bring me back. And a lot of times when they're doing this teleport type thing, as I'm walking back to the bedroom, I will become conscious and they have me like holding me in under my shoulders, because it is a unbelievable feeling of being like extreme vertigo, where you've been like on an unbelievable like roller coaster ride, and I'm unable to like get myself walk, and they're literally just more or less toting me, and my feet's either dragging or kind of trying to help, but then they get me in the bed, and then that's that. But yeah, so this has been occurring all my life. It has become as I've gotten older, I would say it was more intense because it's more of a spiritual growth. It's part of our evolution and getting us prepared for this ascension and this evolutionary pivotal point that humanity is going through. And I made a decision as an interdimensional being to come to Earth. I incarnated here, and when I was upset and wanted to know why they were doing this to my children, I asked for them to come explain why me. What is the purpose? What is the meaning? Why myself? Why my children? And they told me that I had made a decision to come here and be a part of this evolutionary process here on Earth, and that my sons had been they're part of this as well. And so, they could sense, they're telepathic. They could sense my frustration and disbelief. And so they presented me with a blue orb. And in the orb, they showed me the vision of myself. And I actually saw myself walking through the process. I saw and watched myself being born here on Earth. So it took me a long time to understand all of that. That's not something that you talk about to anybody. And it's been a long process of me understanding who I am, my purpose here on Earth, and what this all means. And I understand now, and I'm at total peace with it. And I'm a happier human being than I've ever been in my whole life, because I know that all of us chose to come to Earth, and we're all here for a purpose and a reason. And I'm so delighted that I actually know, what my role here is. And I'm here to help humanity to understand that our world, if we stay in this negative 3D realm, we're looking at World War III and a possible, destruction of pretty much our whole planet Earth and of our population. And I'm here to help steward people to a more positive direction and let them know that we have options at this point, at this pivotal time. There's an invitation, open door out there for us to work and strive to be. We will never be perfect. We're human beings, but we can strive to be a better version of ourselves. And that's what this is all about, is us looking within. Our soul is not who we've been programmed to be. I am not the Nancy Timms that the world has pushed me into all these different things. I now know I am inner soul self. I am Nancy, the inner soul self, and I'm here for a reason and a purpose, and I'm here to help people. So I'm very thrilled to be at this point in my life that I have these understandings and connections, and I understand my connections with planet Earth, all human beings, and the universe. And I believe, just as the extraterrestrials and interdimensionals do, there is a creator source. And, and they all of interdimensional extraterrestrials have souls. And our souls, that's the main thing they want us to do, is understand ourselves from a soul level. We are so much more than what we give ourselves credit for, or what the world has allowed us to know about ourselves. But we're very unique and have so much to offer, not only to our planet and to each other, but to the universe. And we are going to be part of a cosmic family at some point, because we are all one. We are all connected, and we're all in this together. And that's why I truly say disclosure means a lot of things to a lot of different people. For me, disclosure is human beings, humanity, we are the disclosure. It is us understanding who we truly are on a soul level and our worth, and understanding, we're more than just what works 9 to 5. We're more than just has all these materialistic things and ideas. We are more. We are much, much more. And the human experience is a very short experience. This is just a place, a temporary vessel that we're in for our soul for many, 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 many experiences to come. This is not the end of our soul when we leave Earth. So we have a lot to offer and a lot to learn. And this is the greatest time to ever be alive for us all to truly understand the freedom of, what we are all about, what our true origins are, the true history of our planet. So much things are going to come up and surface to the world, and we're here to be a part of it. So I think it's just a wonderful time to be alive.
Okay, Nancy, thank you very much for that input. Now, if any of our listeners or people that are viewing this later would like to get hold of you, how would they go about getting hold of you and making contact with you?
Oh, absolutely. I have a Facebook group, and it's called Time for Disclosure. And it's Time for Disclosure. We've never been alone. We are the disclosure. And then I have a website, timefordisclosure.com. And like I said, when I first started this 5-6 years ago, disclosure to me at that point was, the government's saying, hey, you people aren't crazy, this is real. But through my interactions with them, and they gifted me a Kundalini awakening with all these things, I understand now that it is our human existence, us understanding ourselves on a soul level, looking within, getting in tune with our inner soul self is truly a disclosure here. Humans understanding who we are. Yeah.
Well, I think that everybody needs the opportunity to be their perfect selves. And I would hope that more people, I feel like there are two types of people in the world, the givers and the takers.
Absolutely.
And there are too many takers in the world these days.
Yes.
More people, if everybody was giving something, then this would be a really great place to be from, and there would be so much love and understanding and caring and helping, and life would be so much better for everyone. And I think that if that is the message of the aliens, that we ought to be listening.
Yes, we should be listening. But it's one thing that they tell me for me is not to get discouraged, because I get attacked a lot, and what they say to me is be patient, let evolution run its course. It will do a lot of this. It will help certain people to wake up and certain people to seek out the information. And then there'll just be some that they just won't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So, if 5 people listen to what you say and only one of them resonates, that's great. That's fantastic. In my eyes, that's 100%. That's one person less that we have to worry about, or that I just feel like everybody needs to know the true information. They need to know the truth. And then they have the option to make their own decision, but I think it's good that we have these podcasts and all these things to help people, because they need to know the truth. There's just a seabed of terrible, terrible misinformation out there that was done intentionally to keep people from ascending or becoming a better version of themselves. They keep them in a negative, fearful state.
Who do you think are the people that are trying to keep us in this negative state? Who do you think is responsible for that?
There is a group of human elites, and there's about 100 families that totally operate the whole world. They have control over our banking systems, our religious systems at a lot of times, our pharmaceutical companies, our oil industries, our education system, even our governments. A lot of our governments, they go in here with good intentions, but they end up being a puppet to these elites that sit on the sidelines, actually making all these controlling decisions. And they're the ones that put these people in, back them and put them in office. And it's because they're using them like puppets, just like we're being used and manipulated like puppets, they put toxins in our air, toxins are in our water, toxins are in our food. They have us taking synthetic drugs. Our bodies weren't designed for synthetic drugs. When we were created, everything that we ever needed was put here on this planet for us. Either if it's a piece of bark, a flower, an element, a mineral, whatever, something that we need is here for all medicinal use. There's things here, and they've been sitting on this technology, lots of technology. We should not be using these fossil fuels. We should have free energy. There's so many technologies that they've been sitting on because of greed. They could have shared it with humanity, but they did not, because they like to be in power. That's the main thing. And they also like to make the money off of us. They like to manipulate us. And they also control our population this way because they cannot make money off of intelligent, healthy people. So they keep us where we're constantly sick. We're at an age where when we get to retirement, a lot of people don't even get to live long enough to enjoy their retirement. There's so many things that need to change on this planet. And with the visions that the interdimensionals give me and show me, there's so many ways that we can change that. And the main thing is getting the world to wake up and realize that we have a lot more power than what we give ourselves credit for.
Well, Nancy, let me ask you this. Have you written any books on this subject matter that our viewers can read?
I have not written any books, and I will.
Okay.
But my focus is on getting the information out there. This is not about fame. This is not about money for me.
Yeah, right.
This is a soul mission for me. So I feel my importance is and I do this all around the world. My mission is I want to eventually go to the United Nations and talk and get them on board with full support and understanding this. And I also want to get I want to get the whole world in on this, because once we have full disclosure, our world is going to change, even with the people that have ascended and are prepared and ready for change, and their awareness and they're more intelligent and they understand these things. There's still we need to have things on board, maybe group meetings. Our medical and our mental therapists need to be prepared, because people will want to talk about these things. They may not, they could be single, not have anybody to talk to. There's different reasons where people might need these group meetings. And so we need to be thinking ahead, not just thinking about the government seems to only be worried about how they're, the technology. Right. I think they should be thinking about the pilots. Who are the beings piloting it? And people like me are the ones that can tell them and help them to understand their agenda, their technology, from the things that we've seen in the visions that they've shown us. But, we need to know about that. That's important. And we also need to understand, what it would be like for them to integrate and what that process would be like, like what the first contact will be like. All these things. We need to be addressing it also on, how humans are going to adapt to all this, what I mean? There's much, much more than how they're flying it,
Yeah, right. And of course, the unknown creates fear in a lot of people.
It does.
Reassuring them with knowledge and giving them information does help calm them down and help them, and accept what's happening. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, that's why I'm here. This is why, I made a choice to come to Earth, and, I'm a messenger for them. And, and I want to help the world. I mean, this is not about me. This is about humanity. This is not about the United States. This is not about ufology. This is a worldwide phenomenon. Our world is changing, on a major scale. You know, our planet Earth is ascending as well as all the humans on this planet. So, you know, we need to all come together as one, work together, and get enough information out there to give people the confidence and the assurities that they need to be able to accept these changes, because it's a lot. But the beautiful thing is, and the way they've explained it to me, is that as far as, you know, ascension and us moving from the 3D realm into higher realms, first of all, dimensions are not physical places. They are higher levels of consciousness. So the way they explain it to me is that by the time we get full blown, which we are already into the fourth dimension pretty much, and we keep going, by the time we get to the end of being totally all in, like the fourth or fifth dimension, we won't even know that it's occurred, because it's a very slow process, very slow. And it has to be done this way because the human brain would not be able to absorb or understand it, because we are all a part of this. So it has to be done in a beautiful way so that, you know, everybody is a part and doesn't feel strange.
Well, I'm wondering if some of our listeners are concerned about why are the aliens helping us, or why are they integrating with us, or why do they need us to come on board?
They don't need anything from us. You know, they are higher conscious beings. For example, you and I are sitting here talking on our technology, you know, and if I go to work, if I don't have the technology there, I have to pick this up and carry it with me. So our technology is a separate entity. For them, their consciousness is their technology. It is not a separate entity. They can manifest anything they want or need. You know, they don't need humans. They don't need our soul. All these horrible things you hear, none of those things are true. You know, they can, you have to understand they're in a dimension, or the really and truly, they are right here with us right now. We're in the 3D realm. Our visual range is limited as to what we can see. And they've
what's long, wide, and tall is all we understand.
Exactly.
And
but
when they're in the conscious realm,
they're all around us.
Realm, we can't begin to understand it. Yes.
And they're all in our skies. They're not hiding from us. We simply have not advanced in our evolution to be visually able to see it all. But see, that's why they're here now and showing us more, is because we are going through an evolutionary phase. We are ascending up into higher dimension, and our visual range is going to increase. Our awareness, our understanding, you know, what used to be paranormal will not be so paranormal anymore. And I'm not just talking about seeing UFOs. The paranormal world, you know, there's a lot of things, a lot of new things are going to open up into, you know, like particularly maybe colors. You know, we're going to start seeing auras, you know, there's certain things that are going to be enhanced as we evolve. And there's certain things in our DNA that has been dormant. And a lot of it is from all the toxins and stuff in our water, food, etc. And a lot of that was done intentional to keep our pineal gland crystallized. But see, now with people being more intelligent, more aware, they're going to start eliminating fluoride from water or start eating healthier choices. And these things are going to start to activate. And as that does, we're going to start to see more. And that means we're going to see the craft more in our skies. And we're going to understand that dimensions are not physical places. They're just like a little sliver. It's like a piece of an onion. You know how an onion has like the little bitty lining things around and around. That's exactly more like how you would visualize what these dimensions above us are. So they're not from the planets that we thought they're from. You know, like they used to say the little green men from Mars or whatever. You know, these beings are interdimensional. And they're all around us. They see us. We just can't see them. if that makes any sense. And they are benevolent. They are billions of years ahead of us.
Mhm.
They don't claim to be, they believe in the creator source, and they do not claim to have created us. They say they played a part. They played a part in our creation. So they've been watching us and waiting for us to get to this point in stage of our evolution of where we are more aware, more, reaching higher levels of consciousness, because that gets us more on a frequency that they're on. Because for me, it's never, ever been about what they look like. It is the frequency exchange between a human being and a higher dimensional being. It is overwhelming. It is very overwhelming. So if you already have a little fear in you when you're face to face with these higher dimensional beings, it's like you're facing you're looking at, it's kind of like you melt. It's like everything inside of you, all of the fear is enhanced. It's so hard to explain, but it's unbelievable. But it's a frequency exchange because we are very low and they are very high frequency. So, but you hear all these horror stories and stuff, but I know how to address all that. So I'll shut up for a little while, let y'all ask me questions, because I'm a talker and I love this. This is amazing.
Well, one of the questions I have is, as a people or a person or human being, how can we go about raising our level of consciousness?
Well, the thing is that we live in a negative realm, and this has been going on for eons. This is nothing new. So automatically we have negative thoughts. So what I do and what I practice is that every time I have a negative thought, I replace it with two positive thoughts. And, instead of, learn to see the beauty in the world. You'll find that as you raise your frequency, you will walk away from people that are so negative, because when you raise your frequency, your body responds to this. It feels really good. The best way I can compare it is like, have you ever heard of like people that go running for long periods of time and they say they get an adrenaline rush that feels really good? When you raise your frequency, your body responds. It feels really, really good. So when you get around, when you start hearing something on the news that is negative, it's like you don't want to be around that. You don't want to hear that. You start disassociating yourself from negative people, from the news. You just start. It's just like it feels good, and it grows and it spreads. And when you start doing it, the people around you will start doing it too, because they pick up on energy, a vibe. They pick up on your frequency, and they want to learn to be like that too. So it all starts looking within, working within, fixing ourselves first. Then other people will start to notice it about you. And then that's when you can start to suggest things. We can't force people into things that, they have to want these things.
But what you're saying is that each of us as a person needs to be trying to influence people to make a change.
No, I'm not. I'm saying by example,
Yes, by example.
leading by how we live and how we feel, and when we're positive and happy, you can walk in a room and it will change the atmosphere of a whole group. It is noticeable. It is that noticeable by raising your frequency, and you don't really have to do anything. People will ask you. So the thing is that you don't want to. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. Yeah.
Absolutely understood. Our chaplain, paranormal pastor, Jarrell Riggins, has got his hand raised. Jarrell, what's your question?
Well, Miss Nancy, one of my questions is you discussed the elitist, or what's been also called in the past by certain ufologists as a group of watchers, like watchers of some sort. Is it possible that because they're influencing such a negativity, that they are also alien in themselves, but they're kind of like, how God is great and certain things, and then there's, demonic side. So could it be said that these elitists might be interpreted as kind of the evil side, you know?
They are not extraterrestrial at all. This dimension that we're in, the three-dimensional realm, is a negative realm. This is a place where all wars, all negativity, all cruel things can occur. Just like with the extraterrestrials. Of course, they're billions of years ahead of us, but this is not their first rodeo. When it comes to ascension, there's many, many universes and galaxies other than ours. And this is part of the evolutionary process. And if you think about it, first of all, we'll never be perfect. That's not, we're not perfect, but we can learn to be a better version of ourselves. So in order to make it to the next level, to ascend, you have to start eliminating the negative thoughts, the negative behaviors, all these negative things. And if you want to be a species that does make it for 1 billion years, you have to learn and adapt to be in this way of thinking, or you'll never make it. And this is why, one reason why this is happening here on Earth at this pivotal time is because we are at the brink of a World War III. We are at the pivotal moment of where we're going to have a consciousness shift to where some people will stay with the negative aspects. Then there's going to be the ones that are highly conscious and moves toward a more unified, peaceful, more positive aspect. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean there's not anything ever that's gonna mishap or whatever that won't ever happen in this positive higher dimension. But what that means is that our behaviors, our thinking, our logic on how to work these differences out will not be warlike at all. We'll learn to play in this sandbox, potentially, possibly with similar problems, but it will be handled in a more peaceful, unified way because we have moved beyond the negative way of doing things. And wars have gotten us nowhere, absolutely nowhere, except line the pocketbooks of the elites who are humans. They are not extraterrestrials. Whether they practice demonic things, I don't know. I will not allow myself to. I know of them, I know all about them, but I would never go sit in one of their meetings. I will not ever get on that level, because I know what they're doing, and I know how they manipulate and try to control people, and I will not show any interest. It's kind of like if you have kids fighting or doing something wrong, and as long as you give them the attention and they feel like they're performing for you, they'll keep doing it. But if you look at it like you're just not going to pay any attention to it, they have nobody to perform for. So I don't give them any attention at all.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're there, but I don't give them any acknowledgement. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions for Miss Nancy?
Mm-hmm.
Danny, you're being quiet. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Nancy, we've been on for a little over 35 minutes roughly. I want to thank you for coming on tonight and enlightening us and sharing the knowledge and the information you have. And we're certainly going to keep it posted, and it'll be on our YouTube site. And if you feel like sharing it, you can certainly go and share it to anybody that you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate your information and your presence and what you've shared.
Thank you very much for having me. It was nice to be here.
Okay. Good night, and thank you very much.
All righty.
Bye-bye. Okay, I've stopped the recording. Let's see if I can stop. See if I'm going to stop the YouTube. It has not stopped. Okay, let's go to more.